Check, check, 1, 2.
All right. I am going to welcome everybody, and I'm going to get you going on a little table exercise so that while we get everybody in through the line, getting a snack and getting some food is going to be really important here for this first 11 minutes. And one of my favorite people in the world is Oprah, because I used to love when she would say, "You get a free car, you get the free t-shirt," all that stuff. So don't forget, there are free Rally to Read shirts in the back. Those are for everyone, because you all are part of the Rally to Read team and task force that's going to kick off around this community and get some great things happening for kids. So, and we're going to learn about all that today. But to start out, just really going to give you 11 minutes to do exactly what you were doing. And that's getting comfortable, that's having a little table icebreaker, and then also making sure that you went through that line to nourish yourself and make sure that you're ready for an hour meeting that's going to be jam-packed with fun as we get ready to kick off Rally to Read across the Monticello community. All right, so your first table question is, what was your favorite kid's book character? And Gavin's going to play some book character songs in the back to go along with your accompaniment here. Thank you, Amy Trombley. And try to think of children's books, especially children who are 0 to 3 years old, and have that discussion. So, nobody can steal mine. Nobody can steal mine. Well, you can if that's what you want. But my favorite book character was, my favorite book, one of them, was Winnie the Pooh. And which character do you think I loved in Winnie the Pooh? Tigger. That's right. Because Tigger's bouncy. And the wonderful things about Tiggers is that I'm the only one. All right, have fun. You have about 5 minutes to discuss. Go ahead. 1 minute to try to get everybody a chance to share, and it's starting to sound like we're getting close. So. All right, here we go. We're just going to go around and just have each table share out at least 2 characters that resonated at their table. So just shout outs, no big secrets. People, it's just like naming a couple of the characters that at your table. We'll start here. A couple of the characters. Yep. Oh. Amelia Bedelia.
That's a good one.
All right. Coming back to this table, a couple characters that came to the conversation.
I related.
The Little Prince.
I also, Berenstein Bears, out of sympathy for the Papa Bear.
Yeah.
You really did.
Yeah, thank you. A little more sympathy for the males in those books. Yeah, we need that. All right, here in the middle.
Berenstein Bears was another one.
Yeah.
Thread.
Yeah.
Then we had Junie B. Jones.
Oh, I love talking like Junie B. Jones when I'd read to my kids. Absolutely. The first grade, no teeth. And that's how it was written. It's awesome. Right here at this table. Dr. Seuss characters. Any favorite Dr. Seuss characters?
Well, I picked the pale green pants.
Oh, yes!
I saw nothing scary for my not scary.
That is so yeah.
This is what life's all about, connections. Pale green pants, okay. I guarantee our school library and public library are going to make sure they go look for the pale green pants. Okay. Up here in the front.
Oh gosh.
Bunny, Peter Rabbit, Madeline.
Oh man, yeah.
Good night, Moon.
Good night.
Good night, Moon. Yeah,
Good night.
absolutely.
Everyone's gotta have the picture.
Well, it's fun to get all jazzed up and make some connections with people that we don't know. Literature can definitely take you to places, and it can definitely make so many things in our life come alive. And that's what we're about to do here today, is we're going to make a concept called Rally to Read come to life with the updates here today. and then it's springing into action after our next meeting, but in November. And we have groups that are going to share that they have been doing a lot of work, and you're going to hear those updates today. And it's going to be one of those exciting days that you realize that you're at the right community, because we're going to be doing some great things for kids. So the first thing that we're going to do today is just we're going to catch up a little bit with our Director of Teaching and Learning. It's really important to know your story of your community, and know that story is looking at all of the kids. So it's looking at demographics, it's looking at data. Now, please don't ever get confused with data being in replace of relationships. Relationships first, data as part of very important pieces of information in those relationships. And that's what Cindy's going to talk about here.
All right. Those of you who don't know who I am Cindy Foshing. I am the Director of Teaching and Learning here in Monticello. Oh, if I get that. Thank you. You can relax now, Mr. Olson. I'm just going to go quickly through just a little bit of data just to ground our work here. I wanted to start off because we're really talking about early education. So this is our early education demographics from last year at Eastview Education Center. And so you could kind of take a look at our ethnicity and race breakdown. So 77% white, 23% non-white population. We can look at our Hispanic Latino is our second largest group of students at our school. And then next in line, we have students from other races, American Indian, and so forth. The other thing that we like to take a look at, oh, and by the way, this is the highest percentage of students of color and American Indian students in our district here at Eastview Education Center. So that is our most diverse school, which I think is awesome. The other thing over here that we take a look at is how many English language learners we have in our district or in our early elementary, which is at 8%. Most of our buildings are at like 4% or so, and they have twice as many English language learners in our early education center. Special education is at 50%. Most of our buildings are in the 34%. They're at 50%. So you can see the great needs that we have at our early education center. Free and reduced, 44.5%. Typically, we're at about a 34 to 38% in most of our buildings. And then homeless, well, it shows 0, but I'm not sure if I believe that. This comes straight from the Minnesota report card. If you ever want to go and find that data, you can just go to the MDE website. In the search bar, Minnesota report card, you can go in and find all of the data about our district that you want. Okay. I'm just going to share with you the reading goals that we had for our early education students and then up through grade 3. So the World's Best Workforce is MDE's measurement tool for us. They ask us to set achievement goals each year under certain categories. So the first goal is that all children are ready to read or are ready for school. So as a district, we set 2 goals in that area in 2023. This is 2023, 2024's data, last year, right? The first goal was that our 4-year-olds will be ready for school. And that's measured quarterly through assessments that they do at the early elementary school. And so we wanted to have at least 90% or more proficiency, and we had 93.7 as an average. So you can see our social emotional learning, they were at 93.3% of our students met benchmark there. Physical was at 90.2 and cognitive 97.7. So doing a good job at our school readiness programs. And then for kindergarten, we had set a goal that we wanted to go from 47% to 50% by the spring, and we met our goal at 54%. And that might not seem like a lot, but that is the highest we've had since COVID. So every year it gets better and better and better. So that's awesome. And this is just off of our FastBridge screening. This is our screener that we use 3 times a year with students in K all the way up through grade 9 now. And it measures risk of not reading at grade level, and then we do a math one not doing math at grade level. So this one's reading right now. The second World's Best Workforce goal that we're required to set a goal for is all 3rd graders can read at grade level. Moving forward, because of the READ Act, Now the new goal that we'll have to set from now on moving forward is that every student will read at grade level every year, not waiting until they're third grade and say, oh, finally they're at grade level. So then at kindergarten, they have to be at grade level, first grade, second grade, third grade, and all the way through. So we set 2 goals, one with FastBridge data, which measures risk of not being at grade level. And then the second one is MCA data, which measures mastery of state standards. They measure a couple different things. We did not meet our goal in either area, unfortunately. We wanted to go from 66% who were at or above grade level to 70, and we went down to 56%. They're included in all of this data.
Okay, so that will make a difference then.
Yes, absolutely will make a difference, for sure. All of our EL students, all of our special ed students, every student is in this data. Yep. But that is true across the board, across the state, so when we measure ourselves against the state. And then for MCA, we, instead of going up to 60%, which is what we wanted, we went down to 47.4. Those are our third graders from last year. And then these are just pictures of that data. Can you tell me what was unique about our third graders last year? I bet you can. Yep, that was our first. They were kindergartners in the, whoops, whoa. They were kindergartners in our first year of COVID. So, whoa, I went all the way to the end. Whoops, there we go. So last year's third graders were kindergartners. And because of that, they were in an environment where people were wearing masks. We had to because of safety. However, when kids learn how to read, they're watching their mouth. We show them picture cards. They're learning the sounds, which could be muffled through a mask. There's a lot of different factors for kindergartners that made it really hard for them to learn how to read in kindergarten. We were only at, when those kiddos were in kindergarten, they were only at 36% of those students were proficient that year, 36%. They were also, some of them doing online learning or virtual learning that we had to do for a period of time. And then also across the country and across our state, we had fewer students in pre-K and K enrolled in those because parents were working from home, parents were keeping their kids home, homeschooling. There were a lot of different things happening where we had a lot less kids in organized pre-K and K programs. Some of the results of that were that they had reduced exposure to school, to curriculum, to teachers, and even special education services that they might have qualified for in pre-K and K and gotten some early intervention for. They missed some key development and learning opportunities, therefore, missed screening opportunities that we might have had, like I said. Some parents even requested them when we did come back to school that they hold their children back because they were concerned. So there were a lot of factors that were happening with our little third graders last year who were kindergartners during COVID. But however, remember we said it was going to take some time with learning loss? Remember what most of the experts said, how long it was going to take with learning loss? 3 years, they said. It'll probably take 3 years for kids to start to catch up. And lo and behold, if you track this group now, when they've got to first grade, second grade, third grade, and now as fourth graders coming in, that's where they tested in the fall. So they're making gains, even though the numbers don't look like what we want them to look like. Any question about that? That's our fourth graders this year. So promising things coming up for those kiddos. And again, like I said, fourth graders coming, oh no, these are our kindergartners this year. Remember we ended up, they started at 36% 4 years ago, proficient, and they're coming in at 61%. So they're making really great strides. This year, for the first time, our preschool kids took our FastBridge screening. And students enrolled in our Monticello pre-K program were 89% ready for school and proficient. So that's awesome. Not all of these kids attended our Monticello preschool, though. We have kids in this group who are coming from a lot of different places. So I don't want you to mix this up, right? So they're not really related because not all these kids attended this school. Eric's got something to say.
Hold on to that thought for when Jen Johnson comes up to talk with her group because of what her task force is going to be doing. That's going to be a big piece of that unification. I'm done. Oh, that's right. All right. So I get to be the transition man. And what I would like to say is, like, everything that you see right there, even though it's data, please break it down to a statement that I'd like to have everybody resonate across the community, in our schools when things get heavy, when you're parenting, when you're working with children as a mentor or in your field of profession. But we have a strong belief, or we are trying to instill a strong belief, that all children can learn, and all children can learn well if we give them the right supports. And that's why we're here today, is we're going to talk about supports with Rally to Read that we're building for the 0 to 4-year-olds, and support coming from a group that's taking the high school a media center approach to try spark that interest of reading at the high school level. So think of it as that we're pushing in from both sides of the spectrum in order to help all of our kids. But it's not, when I say all of our kids, I'm talking to everybody in this room, because it's a community effort. That's when you really get the most, improvement for your students, is when you're all working together. You realize what programs are doing across community, city, businesses, county, school district, hospitals, clinics. You're all doing manufacturing. Everything comes together when we work together, and we can go so much farther. But it starts, that's data, and it's important to realize how important that data is. But why it's important is that you lead in whatever you do, whether it's your family, whether it's your business, you lead people, and we need to make sure that they understand that we're going to be here to support them and to give them what they need. And we feel like we have some task forces that are excitedly going to be working across the community to give that support. So we're excited. But don't forget that it's data, and data is important because we believe all kids can learn and learn well, right? All right, next up, so we're really getting a buzz going right now, and we're going to start being able to share what that buzz is specifically. And we're going to start with the state level. We have Tim Reardon here, who is the co-founder of an organization that started from a story and started from somebody in this room, but I'll let him tell a little bit about that. But Tim is here to talk a little bit about the state Rally to Read efforts that are going on. We're Monticello, but he's working at this through a statewide lens.
Hello, Monticello. How's everybody tonight? I'm delighted to be here. Do you know what you started? You started a statewide movement, and it took one Rotarian to raise her hand after presenting at a Rotary Club meeting, where we said, hey, if I wrote an article and they published it, hey, if Cuba can eradicate illiteracy, Minnesota certainly can. And that began a conversation. Monica Martin said, hey, I want to see if we can't create a model here in Monticello that we could take everywhere. And so that's what we're doing. That inspired this. Let's see. So we have a reading proficiency crisis across the state. Half of our kids in classrooms don't read proficiently, right? And so there's a sense of we really have to address that, and the importance, the consequences for a kid who can't read are catastrophic. We could go into that for quite detail, but what it does, ultimately, it impacts the economic engine of our state. Kids who can't read aren't going to be capable of being part of the workforce. The number of kids who end up in our penal system who can't read, there's a direct correlation between not being able to read by grade 3 and the number of kids who end up in our juvenile correction system in our prisons. So we got to do something about this. And as you can see, in the state of Minnesota, we took a big slide. And obviously, some of this is due to COVID, the COVID slide. But even if you go back before COVID, we're still looking at half of a classroom that can't read. Clearly, we could do better than that, right? So we have this big, hairy, audacious goal. And the big, hairy, audacious goal, it only a bag, only the bag goal. I think people are reacting to the hairy part of this. But we want to be the state, transform to be the state with the highest reading proficiency, with the fewest inequities, and we want to get there with a fierce urgency of now. And so to do that, we want to be very goal-oriented, and all of the work that you're doing obviously is going to be measured and based on what we know really works. So our benchmarks are that every kid is wired to read by age 3, meaning we've stimulated their brains during this amazing part of development where 80% of a kid's brain is developed in those first 3 years. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can do to optimize that kid's brain, right? And then make sure that they're reading at grade level. So community options, what do we got to, these are our choices really as communities. We can continue to fail to teach kids how to read. That's one option. And we know what that's going to lead to. We could either invest in kids now to help them read effectively, or we pay a dear price if we don't, and the consequences for the future are much more expensive, much more complicated. It's much more difficult to bring kids up to speed. So community dysfunction really looks like this, right? If you start finger pointing and blaming and have apathy, ignore the problem, or just don't do anything about it, the stagnation. And we think that we can, by doing what works, what we know works based on research, that we can really make a difference. So we've got a statewide campaign now going, thank you to this group, to model it. We're going to inspire reading coalitions across the state, like what you're doing here. And it's going to be a very collaborative approach to tap Minnesota's social capital to make this happen. So I think that's it. So Monticello, the audacious leadership of your fearless leaders, your superintendent, Eric Olson, the community leader, Monica Martin, they set the bar high. They said Monticello is going to be the first community that's going to get there. And Monticello has the courage that they think they could. Maybe you can be the inspiration for the rest of the state that says we can do it too. So thank you.
I love it. When I speak, I might never use the word Harry in my speech, but he pulls it off very well, so I give him all the credit. Next up, we're going to talk about the other piece that's going on with Rally to Read that morphed from some of the first conversations in the first meetings and the needs of our school district in our media center. So here we have Carol Lovgren and Sue Hedke.
Thank you. Maybe you should wait until I'm done. No, just kidding. Anyway, I am Sue Hedke. I'm a retired teacher, taught at Pinewood for 20 years. This is Carol Lovgren. She's also a retired teacher, and she worked at Pinewood for 21 years. She beat me. And we want to just thank the time to be able to speak here tonight and offer all of Eric's support in this endeavor. So, all of us in this room, obviously, are here for kids, and we all know that there's a value of education and the importance of literacy, right? Okay, checked off all those boxes. And we know from little on, as you talked about it, kids from little on need to have a book in their hand, right? From little bitty on, we want to get that book in their hand. We want them to have the big eyes and enjoy the books. So Carol and I are here, however, tonight to talk about the other end of the spectrum, the Monticello High School. Many of our students in the high school have been here for a lot of their education or maybe just for a little bit. Some are very, very proficient in their literacy skills. They're very good. They're good at reading, they're good at talking, they're good at writing, good at communicating, but others still struggle. However, just like the little ones who need to have that book in their hand, so do our freshmen and our sophomores and our juniors and our seniors. They need to have access to quality books. They need books to enjoy, to learn, to explore, and to wonder. So, Monticello High School Library needs your help. Take the clicker. Okay, somebody gotta show me how to use the clicker. Right side. Okay, either right. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay. Who we are. The project we're going to share with you is part of Rally to Read, as Eric has said. Those of you here tonight are familiar with the part of the initiative that is focused on supporting literacy for children birth to 4 years of age. The project we're introducing, as Sue said, aims to improve the literacy of students at the other end of their school career here in Monticello, those students at the high school.
So how we got here? We were at a school board presentation a year ago in the fall, and our district media specialist, Carrie Green, was giving a presentation to the school board, and she mentioned how the collection in the high school library is struggling. Now, unlike the middle school and the elementary schools that have a PTO that can put on book fairs where you can make $1,500 to $3,000, it's not there at the high school. There is no such organization. Oh, wrong one, sorry.
We truly believe that the Monticello community can get the Monticello High School Library back on its feet.
And what we learned from Carrie's presentation, we asked them for some more details, and this is what we got. We found out that the Monticello High School students are readers. They do like to read. The Monticello High School Library is not currently meeting students or staff needs. And the Monticello Library budget is not enough to significantly advance the aged book collection.
Yes, Monticello High School students are readers. 9th and 10th graders read 10 minutes daily in their English classes, and many students read for leisure. And I thought this was kind of neat. They prefer print to digital. The Monticello High School Library works to support access to books for all students. Now, we know that some families can afford to purchase books for their kids, but others can't. Some families have access and transportation to the public library, but others don't. And as a way of leveling the playing field, the school library offers equal access to books regardless of a student's circumstances.
So this is a graph that shows that our students are readers. If you notice back here, here's our COVID year, you can tell, always drops. And before then, that was the pace. But look at the pace of the last 3 years. Look at the growth, the number of books that those kids are taking out.
The MHS library is not currently meeting needs of students or staff. For example, health teachers would love to use library books for their research units, but the majority of books are outdated. And you know what? Outdated information in this content area, as well as many others, isn't useful.
So a kid goes to English class and he gets hooked on classics, right? Dynamic teacher, it's really interesting. And he or she wants to continue. Unfortunately, there are very few options. and look at the options. As Carol was talking about, they're old, they're ragged, the covers just aren't very attractive for high school students. There's very few available.
Another way the library is not meeting student and staff needs is when it comes to reluctant readers. There are always readers who, for various reasons, are less inclined to pick up a book to read for leisure. However, they are drawn to certain genres. They like books that are full of action. They like books that are about sports and sports figures. And they like books with humor. And since our goal as educators is to encourage all students to engage with print, these are the types of books that need to be available in the library.
The American Library Association recommends a minimum of 15 books per student in the library. Currently, our library has 2.9 books per student. It's not even 3.
Part of the reason the library isn't meeting students and staff needs is due to the age of the collection. The average age of the books is 19 years. Well, you can imagine if that's the average age, how old some of the books are. Many books are older than the high school students themselves.
I'm sorry.
And it's not that students don't request older novels that are considered classics. They do. However, the books themselves need to be in good condition and with current book covers. In this case, appearance does matter. A beat-up, musty-smelling book does not get chosen to be checked out.
Monticello High School's library annual budget is $3,000. This budget is not enough to significantly advance the age location. And quite honestly, Carrie doesn't have $3,000 to work with because by the time you pay for tape or equipment or genre stickers, you know, that takes about $750, so she barely has over $2,000 a year to purchase books.
With an average cost of $22 per book, it would cost $353,000 to reach that 15-to-1 ratio recommended by the American Library Association. But just imagine if we could make a meaningful improvement in the collection.
This is some resources that Carrie put together, and the resources are listed or cited at the bottom. And basically, blue one is telling us that the more a child reads, the more they learn. The yellow one really says pretty much that the more you read, the better you get at literacy skills, other than just reading. The orange one says that students gain skills, they gain confidence from reading, and that's very positive for them. And last, our population is changing. We're much more diverse than we used to. And kids need to have a book where people look like them, and the stories are similar to who they are. All of our kids, it's okay, I can be loud enough. All of our kids deserve a chance.
So here's our request. We're asking you to help this initiative aimed at supporting and encouraging our high school students by donating to this fundraising campaign.
Carrie did a lot of research and of different fundraising organizations, and she picked Titlewish, and we agree it's one of the best, and here's why. First of all, 100% of the money that you donate goes towards books. There's no postage, there's no fees of any kind or salaries. You're not paying for any of that, okay? The books are guaranteed for life. So a student comes up to Carrie and says, my dog ate the book, or I dropped it in the puddle, or I don't have any idea where it is. She can call and she can request a replacement for free. And also, if you go through the website for the Title Wish, they will donate 10% for every donation. So if you donate $1,000, hey, it's $1,100. If you donate $5,000, you get the picture. I was going to tell you too that Title Wish is funded, I believe, by the Follett organization. I don't know if you've heard of this. So it is a nonprofit running under a very good book company.
Our goal, $150,000. Certainly a large sum of money. But I was thinking, we could kind of look at it this way. What if there were 1,500 people in our community that could each donate $100? That doesn't seem so bad. But we know that this amount doesn't work for all, and that's okay. We value and encourage smaller contributions too. And we do know that these small contributions add up. While this goal won't reach the recommended ratio of 15:1, it will provide about 6,800 new books, which will bring the ratio to 8:1. That would be a significant improvement. And you got to think, what a message that would send to our high school students about how this community values literacy. And for those students, instead of seeing library shelves that are empty, students would see a library that's inviting with a great and varied collection of books that appeal to a variety of students' interests.
Okay, so this is the fun part. We wrote some business letters, and one of the people on the committee said, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could have the high school students write little personal notes on them? So Carrie said, sure, we can do that. And she got the National Honor Society kids and the Boy Scouts, and we fed them pizza and pop. And they wrote a few things, and I want to share just 5 of them with you. So this is from Ella. She's an 11th grader, and she wrote, in the library, there's books. And books take me places. I need more places to go. And there's Lily. She's in 10th grade, and she said, I have a hard time reading, but when I read novel in verse, it makes it so much easier for me. And if you've never read a novel in verse, you got to try it. And there was Kyle, the senior. He said, books feed dreams that go on to change the world. Help us support our dreamers. Seriously, we didn't feed them anything. I mean, any lines. They just came up with this. It was. Sarah wrote, give Monticello High School students a chance to explore a fictional world that they did not know they needed. And simply, Anza in 10th grade said, books are my life. So, how to donate? There are handouts in the back if you haven't picked one up already, and there's a QR code, and you click on that, and it'll go right straight to the website.
And if, after you have entered Title Wish in the search bar and put in Monticello High School, this screen will appear with a photo of the school. And you can see there on the left the Donate Today button. You click on that and it'll guide you through the process. Now, if there is a business that you're aware of that would prefer to write a check, we can give that information to you as well.
So before we quit, I would like to introduce the rest of our committee. We've spent a lot of hours, and first of all, I'd like to, I keep cutting you off on that one. Oh, pardon me. This is me. By the way, if you have any questions, Mary Beth Knowles' phone number and email is on there. We will also be staying after the meeting if anybody needs to talk to us, or you can get a hold of Carrie, or you can find us. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay.
Would you believe we did practice this? We want to thank you in advance for supporting the students in our community through this endeavor. We do need your help. First, by donating if you can, then by telling your neighbors, your friends, your relatives, and sharing it with your colleagues at your place of work. because it will take all of us. In a bit, yes, Sue mentioned that there are flyers on the back. And they look like this, that gives a lot of the information that we have shared, plus, maybe up the right way, plus with information on how to donate.
Okay, now it's my turn. I'd like you, I don't know if you all know Carrie Green, the district media specialist, but this woman has been amazing in helping us. Okay, we didn't know what we were doing, okay? And we didn't know what we were getting into, and we didn't have the facts, and we didn't know how to make a flyer, and we didn't know how to do a lot. And she just kept encouraging, and she just kept helping out, and I don't know how you had enough hours in the day, but we couldn't have done it without you. And also is Mary Beth Knoll, and Mary Beth is a retired special education professor, and somewhere is, Mike Benedetto, former superintendent here at the district. We also have Chuck Derry in the back, and Chuck is with the Gender Violence Institute. Next to him is Wendy Schoen, retired business owner. We also have Sandy Lummel, retired media specialist, but she's homesick. So thank you for your time.
All right, so I would just add as a transition point, we're going to, move towards back to the 0 to 3 and really give a recap of what we have zeroed in on the task force. So remember, today is all about catching everybody up. And then the next meeting will go forward, and we're going to actually start Rally to Read. So in the catch-up, I would just use as my transition, just talking about relationships. And so, like, I could quickly go to a tape. Books are all about relationships, and when you have books, so kind of a plug for the high school piece or the early childhood. If I was a teacher, I would know that Joe would want to go to the baseball section, and I could help him get there. I would want to know, I would be able to go with Mike to do a little research on Italy, because I know that he has family there. And if I was working with Luis, I would work with Luis, and I would say, I didn't know that your husband was a professional soccer player. And I would take her to the soccer section so she could teach me. But books are all about relationships as well. It's not just a person jumping in and reading a book. It's about where you can grow a relationship. So with that said, we're going to now look at our community connections team. So we have 4 0 to 4 task force. This first one, it started with a project that is already going on in town, and I'm going to have Marla talk about that project, and then I'm going to take that project and share where we're going to go with it as part of the strategy.
So hi, I'm Marla Scherber. I'm the public librarian here at Monticello Public Library. We are closed for the next 2 weeks because we're doing a huge carpeting project. That's why I look really sloppy today. We're up to our eyeballs in boxes over there right now, so don't go. Come back in 2 weeks. But we have a really strong Friends of the Library group, and they have been doing this project, which kind of started out really small. But I think with your help in the Rally to Read group, it's really going to pick up steam, because I think it's basically what this is all about. What they've been doing is a Books for Babies program. So when a child is born at the Monticello Hospital, the Friends of the Library go over there with a little envelope, just like this. And inside the envelope is just some literacy about reading, about what literacy is all about and how it's important to your child and how to read to your child. Information about the public library, nursery rhymes, little things like this, possibly some suggestions of good read-alouds for your child. But one of the main things they get in their packet is they also get a book. So they get a board book to take home for maybe it's their first book, maybe it's the only book that will be in that home. We do not know. We can only hope that this is one of many books to come for that child. But they also, inside the packet is also another coupon to come back into the library to get another book. So they'll come back in, and then that's the draw to get them back into the library to get their first library card or get that family their library cards. And then they'll get another book. So now they have 2. So that's kind of the point for this Books for Babies program. And then we've been also, this last year, we got a grant from Wright Hennepin and also from, I'm blanking on the other one, but we got another grant and we were able to put little bibs inside the packets too. But the goal is maybe with this and maybe with some of the contributions from the businesses in the communities is to make it into more of a bag, a little more substantial. This is a bag that we give to everybody who signs up for the summer reading program. I don't know if your kids have done that. We do that from 0 to 18. So this is a bag we give for summer reading program. So the theme is on the front, and then we have the donors' names are on the back. So we do this every summer. And then inside we just have some little things in there that we hand out to the kids, a coloring sheet or things like that. But the Books for Babies, we'd like to do the same thing. Something nicer, maybe a canvas bag, something that is a little more substantial than these, these are kind of the chintzy ones you get at the grocery store, but a canvas bag that child and that family can use then to come to the library to make those library visits. And there's nothing more special than when you see kids come in with this, their summer reading program bag on their arm, and they're walking into the library, and then they're leaving the library and it's full. That is the best thing. So I just want to encourage you to maybe stop in and ask us about the Books for Babies program. We also, like I said, we do things like the summer reading program. We have a winter reading program for adults and teens. So to take advantage of the things that the public library does, and stop in and see us in 2 weeks.
So then the Community Connections team, one of our other strategies that we're going to need human capital for is that we are going to take it to another level. And so we're going to have iPads that help families get signed up for not only the 1 or 2 books that get delivered, but also to sign up for Imagination Library. So back here, we have a little sample Imagination Library. What a great little visual back here. And that shows the types of books that we can bring home, 1 per month per child from the ages of 0 to 4. And we believe that this strategy of getting age-appropriate books in the hands, high-level interest books in the hands, really appropriate books into the hands, so that kids and families can see characters that look exactly like them and they get inspired. So we're going to be pushing from the Community Connections team. So if this is a team that interests you, some of the things that you'll get to do are helping get books to the clinics where children are born, but we're also going to need checks and balance system in our community because some people live in our community that don't go through our center care system. And so we're going to have a checks and balance system through community ed of watching our preschool, or all of our students on the census, sorry. So we have the ability to account for all students, and we're going to account for those to make sure that we have a group of human capital making very special deliveries to homes. And we have partnerships from other resources and county resources, but this can be a person-driven human capital thing that would be very rewarding for I think all of us. So Imagination Library is going to be the other huge strategy with the Community Connections team. And now we're going to advance, and I'm going to ask Jen Johnson to talk a little bit about the Education Awareness team.
So the Education and Awareness team is going to be a group that's a cohort of early childhood educators and some of our daycare providers in our community coming together and working together because we are working with the same age group of kids from 0 to 3 or 0 to 5. And so we're hoping to bring this group together so that we can provide whether it's a reading readiness guide, because there's some sources out there that we can look at, but maybe in this group, maybe there's some other sources that some of our daycare providers know about that we're not aware of, as in ECFE. And so we can work together and share those resources, and then we can plan together some different parent and family events. We already do some with our school, but we would like more of our daycare providers and even parents to get involved and help us come up with even more ideas to reach more of our community members and reach out into being even more inclusive. And then another thing is, another idea we have come up with is possibly providing school messages that can go out monthly that might have a parent tip or a family tip for parents, whether it's related to not only just literacy, but also to child development. And so we'd like to do that as well. So those are just some of the things. So I'm hoping that I've brought in a few core people, and so I'm hoping we can branch out and grab some other child care providers in our community and work together on this.
And I'll invite Jeremiah Mack, our Community Ed Director, up to talk about the Every Kid, Everyday team.
Well, perfect. So the main goal of this one is to engage every kid where they're at, right? So that's bringing in small group help for, for individual students that might need it, expanding the summer reading program and promoting all of the literacy opportunities in our community, work with Cargill or other businesses or individuals that may be bringing them to be guest readers into our preschool, kindergarten, first, second grade, to bring that human capital in to be exposed to different things and different people reading different stories. Also, the opportunity to sponsor children to go to a high-quality preschool program, either at school or center-based or somewhere else where that family needs can be met. So, but can take away another financial barrier for families who are maybe too afraid to ask or just above getting scholarships from the state or don't qualify for other stuff, but not putting the limit on where that is. So that's why on this one the price tags a little high, because that's what it costs for a child. 10 kids to go to full day preschool just at Eastview. That's not before and after school. But then also organizing large group activities, and then eventually getting to the point of how do you have like a big brothers, big sisters kind of program for young families. So Joe's got a young family and he's struggling, but he needs a mentor to help guide and ask questions and not be judgmental, but just a resource for them to help bounce ideas, right? Get them connected and advocate for them. You know, this is the long-term goal where we can put the human capital back into this and really support all families wherever they are at. Doesn't have to be at school. As we talked about before, we only see about a third of the kids come through school, so it is a community initiative to reach every family wherever they're at.
Now I'm going to transition to Monica Martin, one of the most important task force that I believe would be the cultural impact team, and I think it'll be evident once you hear her story and explain why. But think of it this way: is if every year we have policies created by people like me or people who look like me, and we haven't figured out how to engage all different aspects of our demographics, and if we don't have that engagement and we don't pull people to the table that are match our demographics and our diversity, then we're going to continually creating programs that probably are very similar programs to what we've done for years. So Monica's going to explain her dream.
So first I want to thank you, Tim, Eric, for listening and to have the heart to help the kids. The idea I started in the presentation from Tim, the idea was just for the Spanish community. I said, oh my gosh, our Spanish community is getting so behind, because I know a lot of families that they don't know what are they doing. They work all day and they are in different culture. They're trying to learn something new, but they really don't know how to teach the kids this culture. So when he came to the Rotary meeting, I said, Tim, can we help the Spanish community? And I sent it to Eric. And he said, it's not only the Spanish community, it's everybody that needs the help. So that's how we start. And our goal with this is, you know, they are the professionals. They know what are they doing. Like I told them, you told us what we had to do, and I will go and knock in doors. I know where they live. I know where they work. So our goal is all the programs that they're going to do, I'm going to take it to the Spanish community. I'm going to take it to the minorities for us to reach these younger families. The culture, the Spanish-speaking people in here, the African Americans. I have a lot of clients, they don't know. So this is so powerful for us that we can go as a community and help these families to tell them, just read 30 minutes a day, the doctor say. I remember that. So I've been telling that already. So thank you so much. Thank you, Eric.
So along with the high school initiative as our new Rally to Read, and then these 4, think about which ones you would like to be part of when we come together. And in November, I would like this group, and bring a friend, bring back the people who were here that first time when we had about 70. But we want to make sure that people get connected to a team so that we can go do community work together. And we'll have table captains to help guide and facilitate what work that can be. But there's 4 of the early childhood work, and then we have the high school library. Let's come together and let's absolutely build a system that supports the community members from both ends of the spectrum. It's exciting stuff, and I couldn't be more proud to be with everybody who's going to go do this. So here's, we're a little bit behind, but this is really the last slide. So, we're not too bad for having Tim Reardon and Eric Olson in the same presentation slide. Only 7 minutes late isn't bad. So, next meeting, November 19th, 6 to 8, right here. And I will set the table for the activity room to be used too, because I plan this to be big. We've been recording today because we want this story to start going live. And we want to start getting out there to the community to know that we are going to be taking care of our kids and using literacy as the great equalizer in our community in hopes that every child can reach their full potential. And we know they can with the right supports. And these committees are going to provide the right supports. Each of you have a huge role in your life. And so I hope that you know how much we value you and to be a part of this with us. Thank you for taking the time. I've had the time, some of us are going around and doing some work individually with companies. And I tell you, that has been just an amazing experience for me. I'll just say that my experience at Cargill, and to see the diversity as I walked into Cargill, but to see the energy. I've never felt a company that had that type of energy before. They're high-fiving, they know the leaders, they know. And I started thinking about my own journey and realizing that maybe I was getting a little too stuffy too. And so I'm going to be kicking it up across this town. We're going to have some fun. Life doesn't have to be heavy if we bring the right energy to the table. So let's bring the energy to the table that helps kids, all right? I'm making some people laugh, so that's good. That's where I know I just got to stop. The school board works with me all the time. Olson, just stop. Right? It's been a goal. All right? Perfect. Thank you for being here. Whoa. We do magic claps. I don't need any praise, but we need a magic clap for all of us on the count of 3. Magic clap is so magic that we can all do it at one time. 1 clap. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the best one yet. Have a great night. Make sure you have your t-shirt.